All right. We need to talk about something that's honestly draining the fun out of being a Nintendo fan.
The overpriced games, the overpriced consoles, the restrictive marketplace, Nintendo's general attitude towards competition.
Not the games, not the consoles. I'm talking about the discourse.
Oh, okay. So the thing that's draining the fun out of being a Nintendo fan is the stuff that actually doesn't have to do with Nintendo at all. It has to do with the fact that people talk about what Nintendo's doing. This will be fun. This will be great. Generally speaking, if you're a fan of something and the discourse around the thing is making you not like the thing, you either care way too much about the opinions of other people and you should maybe just, enjoy your hobby in peace and not worry about these things. Or you might not be that big of a fan of the thing to begin with. If people talking about the thing overrules the thing itself, that just doesn't make sense to me.
The online chaos. The war zone that fires up every time someone shares an opinion about Nintendo.
Well, yeah, Nintendo's been doing a lot of really lame things recently, and they have a fan base that's often eager to just sweep their bad behavior under the rug. If Nintendo does a dumb thing and someone tries to defend it, then yes, they're going to hear about it. The same way that Nintendo's going to hear about them doing the dumb thing. All of this starts with Nintendo doing something dumb, but I have a feeling you're not really going to focus on that.
It's getting ridiculous, right? You say something positive and boom, shill.
I mean, across the board, no. If you say something positive about a Nintendo product that's generally seen as good or well priced, then no, why would people get mad at you for that? If people get mad at you for that, that's unjustified. Ignore them. But if by say something positive, you mean ignore critics, you mean make excuses for Nintendo, which I'm not saying that you do, but the way that you're portraying this is very black and white. And I think that's unfair to the critics of Nintendo. And I think it's a little overly generous to the people who will defend Nintendo.
You critique a game or price, suddenly you're a fake fan.
Yeah, if someone calls you a fake fan for criticizing something, then that's ridiculous. Everything is worthy of criticism. Even the things that I love most are worthy of criticism. But then again, the title of this video is, quote, "The problem isn't Nintendo, it's us." So, I think I know where you're leaning right now.
There's no middle ground anymore.
There's actually a ton of middle ground, you're just not looking for it. You're correct that there's not a lot of middle ground in people criticizing objectively stupid things. But why would there be middle ground there? Why should there be? A corporation does something disrespectful to the consumers. Well, let's consider the middle ground. No, fuck off. Why should there be middle ground there? They didn't consider the middle ground when they did the stupid thing.
Just two sides, yelling louder and louder, trying to drown each other out.
Yeah, but one of these sides, and not to pick sides here, but one of these sides is objectively better than the other. Criticizing the corporation or defending the corporation? Which one do you think has the just on its face has a better standing?
And if you're in between, forget it. You're invisible.
There's actually plenty of level-headed takes about Nintendo and the Switch 2 right now. And there always have been. There's plenty of them. You're just not looking for them.
When the Switch 2 dropped, that divide exploded. It should have been a celebration. Instead, we got rage, outrage, and never-ending wave of hot takes, most of them louder than they are thoughtful.
This is why I chose to respond to this video. The Switch 2 should have been a time for celebration, but instead it was a time for rage and hot takes, and takes that are louder than they are thoughtful. We should have just been celebrating that, guys. That should have just been a time for celebration. Never mind the fact that the Switch 2 had a rather insensitive price tag. The Switch 2 came along with things like digital game cards that destroy physical ownership. The Switch 2 came along with tons of new protocols from Nintendo to stop piracy and combat piracy, but that really just give Nintendo the option to turn off your machine whenever they want after you've bought it, and people didn't see a problem with that for some reason. The Switch 2 came along with price increases for games, digital games as well. Mario Kart World being $80, $90 physical. But guys, this should have been a time for celebration. You should have just been celebrating this. And instead, people just got rage, man. And they were louder than they were thoughtful, man. What happened? This is why you don't see middle ground, my friend. This is why you don't think the problem is Nintendo, you think the problem is the discourse surrounding Nintendo. The problem isn't that Nintendo's doing something, it's that people noticed Nintendo doing something.
I miss when we could just talk about Nintendo.
You still can.
Argue a little, sure. but still have fun.
Well, I mean, as long as you're not guzzling Mario cocks, is that not still the case?
Now it feels like everything is a battlefield.
You only feel that way because you don't seem to have a problem with Nintendo's behavior and treatment of the consumer. Now, later in the video, he's going to try and explain these criticisms, and he's trying to find some middle ground between himself and the critics. He's going to acknowledge the critics eventually, so I don't want to just completely dismiss everything he's said, but, I mean, if the goal is to understand the opposition here and have some middle ground and try to explain why, Nintendo's behavior is not the problem, guys, it's the discourse. The discourse is the issue. To quote the title of your video, the problem isn't Nintendo, it's us. You are doing a horrible job at that.
And nobody's actually listening.
What'd you say?
And here's the part that really hurts. The joy of gaming is being replaced with tribalism.
Gosh, tribalism in gaming. Tribalism in gaming. Where is there tribalism in gaming? Well, I mean, as long as the problem isn't Nintendo and it's actually us. Am I right? Can you imagine if Nintendo was doing something wrong, but just can't find any tribalism anywhere?
So here's the big question. Is it still possible to love Nintendo out loud without being labeled, attacked, or dismissed?
Yes, absolutely it's possible. You can absolutely love something and still recognize the criticisms of it. And if you recognize the criticisms of it and properly articulate why you love it through those criticisms, then A, you shouldn't be getting attacked or dismissed by level-headed people, and B, if people continue to attack and label you even though you're being completely level-headed and being completely fair, then you shouldn't care about those people's opinions anyways. You're looking at this through the lens of someone who needs to take every opinion seriously. I'm gonna clue you in on something. Not everybody's opinions should be taken seriously. Some people have dog shit opinions. But you also need to be able to recognize what is and is not a fair opinion of something. What is and is not a dismissible dog shit opinion. You need to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, there's these things that people are saying about me or about the community that I'm a part of. Are those things fair to say? If they are, maybe I should address that. Maybe I should acknowledge or put some thought into that. If they're not fair to say, then you probably would have come up with a good dismissal by then, or by this point in the video. You get what I'm saying? There's people who make tons of criticism. I'll give you an example. There's tons of people who make dismissals and attacks on the PC master race, the PC gaming community, which I'm a part of. It doesn't bother me that people say those things because A, they're either completely ideological arguments that you shouldn't take seriously anyways because there's no ground to them, or B, they're arguments that I can pick apart. They're arguments that I can counter because I know what's true. I know why I believe what I believe, and I can tell you exactly why. I know what I love, I know what I enjoy, I can tell you exactly why. But I also don't love things or enjoy things because of a logo on the box. That's the difference.
Let's unpack what's really going on and why this mess is hurting everyone involved.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that one elaborated on. Like, you're gonna have to explain how the people on the criticizing Nintendo side of the fence are hurt by their criticisms of Nintendo being made. Like, if the two camps are people who love Nintendo and people who don't and people who hate Nintendo, you're gonna have to explain how the people who hate Nintendo are hurt by their criticisms of Nintendo. Because I'm pretty sure they're not hurt by this at all.
Here's the truth a lot of people seem to forget. You can love Nintendo and still call them out.
Oh, absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. You can absolutely call out the things you love. Like, for me, I love the Seattle Mariners. You thought I wasn't going to talk about it, huh? You thought I was going to ignore it. No, I'm not going to ignore the fact that you blew a 2-run lead in what, the 7th fucking inning of Game 7? Because of a pitching change that did not need to happen? And even aside from that, what's the fucking deal with walking all the leadoffs? I can't even be that surprised that we lost Game 7 because we seem obsessed with walking leadoff hitters and then being surprised when they get into scoring position. We seem to be obsessed with leaving people in scoring position and then being surprised that we only have a 2-run lead. You know how many fucking runners we left on base in that game? It was 3-1 up until I think the 7th inning, and then there was a 3-run home run that made it 4-3. But how many fucking runners did we leave on base? It should not have been a 2-run game. It should have been a 4-run game, at least. There's no reason that we shouldn't be capitalizing on the big dumpers fucking dumping on everybody he comes across. How is it possible that you have one of the best hitters in modern baseball and he's only scoring 1 run at a time? Look, this right here, this is going to sting for a while. I really thought it was our year. Not to get heavy on you guys, but I really fucking thought this was our year. Like, last time the Mariners made it to the Final Four like this, I was 4 years old. Grandparents dying of cancer, and my escape was the fucking Seattle Mariners. Shit sucks, that's okay. You got an Ichiro jersey. Put that shit on. Shit sucks, it's okay. Mariners are on tonight. You know what I mean? I really thought it was our year. And even the years after that, you know? Like 03 to 07, 08. Mariners sucked then, but you still had Ichiro. You still had Kenji. You still had the King. And yeah, your family members may be dropping like flies. Cancer here, heart attack there. But it's okay. We can go watch the Mariners. I just really thought this was our year. Sorry. Not to get fucking heavy on you guys like that. But like, I've gotten so many DMs from viewers being like, hey man, sorry about the M's last night. It's like, yeah, me too, boss. Even my students, I come into class on the day after, I come into class on Tuesday, and this kid walks up to me, his head down. He's like, hey Mr., I'm not going to tell you my last name. He's like, hey Mr. Joe. That's not what they call me. Hey, Mr. from Seattle. He just walks up just quietly. He's like, hey, I'm sorry about the game last night. And I'm like, you know what? You get 17 A's. Look, you can, I'm saying all this partially because I'm still hurt, but also partially because you can totally criticize something you love, something that has been there for you, something that you have an emotional attachment to, but you still have the worldly understanding that that thing that you are attached to can make mistakes, can do things wrong. I love the Seattle Mariners so goddamn much. But fuck my asshole. They have been doing so many things wrong, and it hurts so much they've been doing these things wrong because look how close they got to the finish line while doing things wrong. That stings. Anyways, I don't even remember what the fuck I was doing. I don't even remember the fuck point I was making. Just continue, I guess.
That doesn't make you a shill. It doesn't make you a hater. It makes you normal.
Wait, hang on. There is a line that gets crossed that turns you into a shill, okay? To keep with the baseball analogy, I would be a Mariners shill if I said, look, we should be in the World Series right now because XYZ reason that totally is invalid, but overrules the mistakes we made. There are these mistakes, but they weren't actually mistakes because something was working against us, you know? And no, I will not bring up that fucking curveball. I will not bring up that curveball. That this clip has been keeping me up. I'm not gonna lie, this clip has been keeping me up. That could have been the game changer, but just again, we shouldn't have even been in that situation. We can talk up and down about how the game would have been differently if this was called a ball instead of a strike, because it fucking should have been called a ball. It was even more of a ball than the ball that was called a ball. In before Joe, they both should have been strikes. It doesn't matter if the first one was called a ball. If you are an umpire, you are supposed to have a consistent strike zone. This was not a consistent strike zone. But even then, even if this was called ball 4, even if he was put on base, we can talk up and down about how the game would have been different if that were the case. But it doesn't change the fact that we shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with because there were a million mistakes that were made before that. Sorry, I'm still so fucking hurt by this. This hurt. I saw a tweet that was like, I retweeted it, but it was like, this hurts more than when the Seahawks threw on the 1 yard line. This honestly hurts more because the Seahawks threw on the 1 yard line in their second consecutive Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, we lost that one, we won the previous one. But the Mariners are still the only fucking MLB team to never even appear in the World Series. That's why this hurts more. Anyways, there is a line that gets crossed when you go from being a fan to being a shill. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to get at here. You can be a fan of something despite criticism. You can be a fan of something despite mistakes. You can be a fan of a company, of a brand, of a corporation. As long as you are willing to acknowledge mistakes, as long as you are willing to acknowledge the fact that there are going to be things that this company, this brand, this corporation does wrong. If you are refusing to acknowledge those things, or you try to make excuses for those things, that crosses the line from fan to shill. That is the difference.
It makes you someone who actually cares about the games, the experience, and the community.
Okay, but like, if you actually care about the games and the experience and the community, shouldn't you be criticizing things? Like, I'm not super understanding the mistaken identity here. You're like, it doesn't make you a shill, it makes you a fan. Like, what are we playing at here, boy? What are you playing at here, boy?
We've reached a point where if you don't pick a side, full loyalty or full outrage, the internet decides for you.
Yeah, so ignore the internet. It's not hard. It's like, that's coming from someone who makes videos for a relatively large audience. It's not hard to ignore the internet. Go outside.
And in the process, all the gray areas, all the thoughtful takes get buried under the noise.
I've actually found that the more thoughtful takes, the more like thought out takes are the ones that rise to the top in these discussions. No? Just me?
People act like being critical means you're rooting for Nintendo to fail, or that enjoying their games means you're ignoring their flaws. Neither is true.
Enjoying the games doesn't make you a shill in itself, or you're ignoring flaws. It's like this is what I'm talking about. You're equating different things with each other here. You're trying to act like anyone who enjoys Nintendo is like, oh, they're just being attacked for being shills. No, the people who are being attacked for being shills, again, rightfully attacked for being shills. There's a difference between being attacked rightfully and attacked not rightfully. But if you are trying to argue that $80 games, $90 games, it's a good thing, guys. It's totally fine. You are a shill. If you just say, hey, I enjoyed this Nintendo game, you're a fan. That's the difference. Have the mental maturity to separate those things and have the mental ability to say, hey, that criticism is not valid. I'm either going to explain to the critic why it's not valid, or I'm going to ignore it because it's not valid. Like, sometimes I see people like this on the internet. It's like, you make videos, you have 3,000 subscribers. How do you not get this? You know what I mean? It's like people can throw any shit they want at me. It just doesn't bother me though. I read what people have to say, or I hear what people have to say, and either it's valid criticism and I'll acknowledge it, or it's valid criticism and I'll take it to heart, or it's not valid criticism and I go about my fucking day. Like, this isn't hard. I don't get this. If you can't separate valid criticism from people just yelling, why are you on the internet? It's not for you. It doesn't have to be for you. I'm not even saying that as an insult. But if you can't separate these two things, like, what are you doing?
In fact, the healthiest fandoms are the ones where people can discuss both the highs and lows without fear of backlash.
Yeah. And who is it that prevents that discourse from happening? Is it the more critical people, or is it the more corporate defending people? Think about it for a second. If you're trying to cultivate a community where people can express their opinions without fear of dogpiling, without fear of being, their opinions being thrown out the window, who is it that's creating the more hostile environment? Is it the people who are criticizing the things a corporation is doing? Or is it the people who are defending the things a corporation is doing? Just in your own experience, there's no right answer here, because it varies from community to community, I'll admit. But just think about your opinion in witnessing stuff like this. Which side of the fence is it typically? In my experience, it's the corpo defenders who are more likely to create a hostile environment for discourse. That's just my opinion. Maybe that's just the communities I've been a part of. Because the people who are making criticisms, generally speaking, have thought more about their opinions than the people who are trying to defend corporations. Because the people who are trying to defend corporations are, generally speaking, stopping their thought process at a logo. The people who are criticizing a corporation, generally speaking, have thought more about the big picture. That's just my opinion, my experience. Yours may be different. I kind of have a feeling it's not.
But we're losing that fast.
I actually disagree. I think we're in a pretty good place for discourse. I think discourse is pretty great right now. But then again, that's because I don't suck off corporations. I generally, just on principle, side with gamers over corporations, unless I hear otherwise. I'm yet to hear a good reason otherwise.
Why? because nuance doesn't trend.
I actually wholeheartedly disagree with this. Nuance and like niche opinions are, if you want to talk about like trending on YouTube, dude, those do great.
Rage does. Hot takes do. The more extreme your opinion, the more traction it gets.
Okay, so people only have negative opinions because they want traction online. Are we really doing that right now? Are we really doing that in the context of Nintendo in the current year? That's what we're doing?
And social media is built to reward that. We should be able to say, this game is amazing, but this decision sucks, without it turning into a war.
Yeah, I thought I was kind of under the impression that's how the world was working. Like, hey, this game is really good, but the pricing around it sucks. Hey, I'm really enjoying this thing, but I wish I didn't have to pay this much for it. Hey, this thing looks really cool and I want to try it, but I don't want to drop that much money on it. I thought that was completely commonplace.
We should be able to hold two thoughts at once. But in today's climate, even that feels controversial.
It doesn't, though. I feel like I do this relatively often, where I'll be like, yeah, this game looks really interesting. This game looks good, but I don't want to support that practice, so I'm not going to buy it yet, or I'm not going to buy it in its current form, in its current state. And I guess this is just anecdotal. I don't even know the last time I released a video that had less than like a 94% positive like to dislike ratio. And I do the exact thing you just said you can't do anymore. So I'm just not buying it. I think the problem might be your opinions, not the discourse around things related to your opinions. I think the problem with your experience might be your opinions. Because again, reminder of what this video is called. The problem isn't Nintendo, it's us. But the more I listen to you, the more I think the problem is Nintendo. But you don't want to acknowledge that. And that is why you feel this way.
Let's talk pricing, because this is one of the biggest flashpoints and one of the most misunderstood.
Man, the discourse around Nintendo games is just such a shame right now. Also, the pricing is misunderstood. Buddy, I think we found your fucking problem.
Every time Nintendo announces a price, whether it's a console, a controller, or a $50 amiibo, the internet blows up.
Yeah, because they're overpriced.
They're gouging us. Greedy Nintendo strikes again. It's a constant storm of outrage, and to be fair, some of it feels justified.
Some of it, guys. Not all of it, some of it. I can't wait to hear what is and is not justified to you.
$50 for a single amiibo? That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yes, because amiibos are the big thing. Not the price of the games, or the price of the, online membership. It's the amiibos. That's the big sticking point, the amiibos. Phenomenal job here understanding the opposition. Love this.
But here's the thing. A lot of people aren't looking at the full picture.
Yeah, guys, you're just not looking at the full picture. $50 amiibos. I know you remember when they were like $15 to $20, but $50, you're just not looking at the full picture. Fuckwit.
In the US, tariffs on imported goods from places like China and Japan are having a real impact on prices across the gaming industry.
Oh yeah, no, tariffs on physical goods. So why are digital goods increased? Like, I'm sorry, but I think I now understand why you're focusing on physical imported goods. Which, also, fun fact, Nintendo literally said tariffs were not part of their pricing decision. Nintendo literally said that, but that's a different topic. When people talk about game prices, what they're talking about is game prices. When people talk about how Nintendo has become an expensive platform, what they're talking about are the games, not the fucking amiibos. This is why I'm pissed off at you, Legend of Potato. Because you have the fucking balls to be like, guys, if you're criticizing Nintendo's pricing, you're just not looking at the full picture. I know they're making digital goods more expensive than ever. I know they literally said tariffs don't have any impact on their console pricing. But guys, you're not looking at the full picture because the amiibos are priced correctly. Respectfully, you are called a shill because you are a shill. This is a shill opinion. This is a shill argument. Fuck off.
And while Microsoft and Sony raised prices on their consoles, Nintendo chose a slightly different path.
Yeah, guys, Nintendo chose a slightly different path of raising the price of their consoles. You know, they raised the price of the console. Like, what?
While they did raise the prices of the Switch 1 consoles, Nintendo is holding the Switch 2 price at $449.99.
Yeah, that was overpriced to begin with. It was overpriced to begin with. Like, oh, guys, they didn't raise the price of the Switch 2. That means they're on our side. The Switch 2 was overpriced to begin with. Why would they raise the price? What?
To keep their newest console's price competitive, Nintendo has chosen to absorb those tariffs costs into accessories as well.
That's not how business works. That's not how business works. I'm about to explain basic fucking economics to someone who said that I'm part of the problem because I criticize Nintendo, apparently. Sorry. I started off this video being very, trying to be very level-headed, but now that you've gotten into your arguments, I'm just fucking pissed off. You're actually trying to say that Nintendo... you're saying Nintendo is looking at the prices at tariff costs. They gotta work that into the profit margins. Yeah, profit margins just got smaller on the goods that they sell the most of, which would be games and consoles. And they're saying, okay, we can absorb the cost or the offset of the profit margin by increasing the price of amiibos, which is something that not everyone is going to buy. And also, we still did raise the price of games. They raised the price of games, they raised the price of everything, and they overpriced the console. But you're saying, guys, it's actually a good thing that they did this, because they kept the Switch 2 at the price that it was a few months ago. They didn't raise the price of the Switch 2 in a matter of months, because of course they didn't. It just came out. But it's also a good thing that happened because, guys, they're absorbing the cost of the tariffs in the amiibos. The thing that only a small percentage of Switch users are going to buy. That offset tariffs, guys. I understand economics. Also, they raised the price of digital goods across the board. I'm not going to acknowledge that at all. But it's $50 amiibos, that's a good thing. $50 amiibos is actually a good guy move by Nintendo because it kept the price of the console competitive, even though the price of the console was already overpriced. I say it again, you are a shill. People are calling you a shill because you are a shill. I don't know how much more of this I can do.
And that's where the backlash is coming from.
Oh, guys, the backlash is coming from amiibo prices. Mario Kart World is $90 fucking, and you have the fucking balls to say that the discourse around this is fucked, guys. The discourse around Nintendo is so bad because all the backlash is coming from $50 amiibos. Are you alive? What?
The outrage over $50 amiibos isn't just about greed. It's a result of the console staying the same price while the peripherals take the hit.
Buddy, I love how we're just not talking about games, and I love how we're just not talking about the fact that the console just came out. They're not going to raise the price of the thing that just came out. How long have I been recording? This is great. This is amazing. 4 minutes and 25 seconds into his video is where I am right now. 4 minutes and 25 seconds in his video. I've been recording for almost 48 minutes. This is a new record for me. And granted, I went on that whole rant about the fucking Seattle Mariners. And I cut that in half probably. By the time this video comes out, that rant's probably cut in a half of how long it was. I probably spent at least 10 minutes of this just talking about the Mariners because I am hurt, god damn it. Let a man be hurt. I don't even know what I was talking about, dude. Just come on. I don't know how much more of this I can do.
And look at the Kirby Air Riders amiibo. In the US, it's $49.99.
Which is absurd. $50 for a fucking amiibo. That is absurd.
In Europe and parts of Asia, the exact same figure is selling for around $39.99.
Yes, because of import pricing and because of tariffs. Great. I love that you focus so hard on amiibos. Can you acknowledge the thing that people were actually criticizing, which is the price of digital goods? Because digital goods are completely unaffected by tariffs. You're trying to wipe away all criticism of Nintendo's pricing because of tariffs, even though the biggest criticism of Nintendo's pricing is the pricing on digital goods. Digital goods have no physical overhead. There is no justification for that.
That's not a coincidence. That's a direct reflection of how tariffs are impacting U.S. consumers more than others.
I'm begging you to make an actual point. I gave you so much grace. I gave you so much grace up to this point, and now you're just pissing me off.
So yeah, it stings. But ignoring that cause and effect relationship turns economic reality into nothing more than clickbait outrage.
Okay, so it's clickbait outrage. It's clickbait. Go fuck yourself. I'm done with this video. I can't do any more of this. It's clickbait outrage to criticize Nintendo's pricing on games, on consoles. It's clickbait outrage to acknowledge those things and criticize those things because, guys, the price of amiibos is justified. Which, first of all, you haven't done a single thing to explain why the price of amiibos even should be $40. So it's $40 in these countries, but $50 in America, man. It's $40, but $50, like, oh, dude, you just got to get used to it. Why is it $40? You won't acknowledge that. You're saying it's more expensive in the U.S., but why is it as expensive as it is in the first place? And also, I've never seen somebody try to justify Nintendo's behavior and Nintendo's pricing by talking about the fucking amiibos. You know that is not the thing people are talking about. That's what really pisses me off. You know for a goddamn fact, amiibos are not the main thing people are upset about when it comes to pricing. I can't deal, man. I can't deal. You've hurt me enough as it is. Not you. I meant you just as like the royal you. You know, like the big picture you. You being the world. The world has hurt me enough this week. But I can't with you. I just can't. I'm going to the Doofus Club now. And you can't stop me, Dad. You can't stop me, Mom. You can't stop me, Uncle. So I'm just going to do the Doofus Club. I can't. I'm too hurt. Okay. Nate, Elite, Billet, 310 Char, Akimbo, Hammer, Smash, the faces of whiny fanboys, Grimsy, Sergeant Jason, Bond, Bear, Unicorn, Walker, it's a hard nug life. Nice dude, One Man Savage, People Up in Bowler Hat, Biscuit 1.1, The Return of the King, Guard loves getting pegged by his horsey wife. Seller out Max Killer BT Gaming Official Drags Max Lure of the Wart Vector Vendetta Audrey Mechanical Resident Sick Nick Bad Fox 94 Exchange Induction Bear Brain Sick Rider Broken Crayon Pro for the Rat King. No motorcycle yet. Just got my first car. Devastator 2000. Jake Spider Monkey hashtag Banjo TV. Shmuel from Schmiels Schmitz. Chris Boyd Vaz Dennis. Dirty Mike and the Boys. Gaming with the Dead People. Muskie Big Fudge. I'm proud of the Mariners. Stay true to the blue. That's what hurts the most. Is I am proud of them. That's what hurts the most. Through all of this, I am proud of them. And that's what hurts the most. Klepto Penguin to JoJo 6, Mole Theme, Lizard, Oracle, Blast 2014, Jimmy Chop, Step Joy, Drop My Soap, Whoops, Winky Face, Magic Killer, Firestorm 2056, Tom Stroll, Accent, Unknown 86718, the letter H and the word Trump and the listener painting me all over, Ed Shadow Bear 1789, Kushkin, Bender Fondue, is in a boatmobile, it's your mom, T Dragon Rising Around, Non Vola, High, Partial Mean 8, Volks, Auto Economy 4372, WX, the Gamer 127YT, Alderotho 1, Snake Eyes 227, Gamer Word 72, McGee 296E, 10th Alex Monica Gamma, Fire Hazard 105, Tech Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, Lord Basket II, Go Joe Labs does the moat, Gay local adult with autism, featuring Knuckles from Shadow the Hedgehog, PC Gamer, Jessica Shecker, Briggs Bobby, Dabby, talking about Atomic Dog, 49, Crew of the Steel Angel, Microsoft is owned by Anson Twig Boys, Baron Von Vonderham, Sire 6771, 2X940, I saw that BO7 spelling mistake, lol, Lamau, Creed Warrior 23, Max Chev, Similar the Chap, Totally Insane, Black Warrior, Black Warrior, Psycho Warrior, Black Cobra, Praise be to the Space Kings, Night Cypher, ML04, Ion 6, copies of Click 2006 on Blu-ray, Wolf Midnight, Pygmy and Seawood, Studios, Mimicracker, Omri, Tariq Brown, Thordscape, Maganex, Everett, Evans, Mrs. Brian 3, Skyline, Africa, Wymax, Pow Pow, Donnie Weston, Nick, Gob Gonson, Rogue, Wednesday 19, Zach Than, Kenny Getting Family, Hangman for Hire, Ellen Owl, Frost Crystal, Biogenesis, Floppy Pinkus 97, Mega Key, Scubby Skull, Ghost, Reus, Hockey, Ratchet Tim, Honest 24, Blue Hook, The Windy Wank, Mr. Techno Squeak, Jody Penis, Smitty Wiggy, Van Jensen, McIver Testament, Dick Garcia, Kimmikins, I American Idiot, Harvest Smith, Other Jen, Ono, Justin, Rand, Rui, Toonie Winks, Roll 7, Test My Tickles, Wannabe Hoba, Westa, Jay's going to the World Series, Canada flag. Look, I'm finding it so hard to root for you guys. The better team won. Like, just straight up. I'll be the first to tell you, the better team won. The Jays deserve that over the Mariners. Absolutely they did. But also, I want the Dodgers to 4-0 you. Veg Groovement and a Curtin Allen's back. Saul Houghton, I can't help it. I'm British. Yeah, that one you need help with. You need help with. I can't help it. I'm British. It's like, look, I can't help it either. Where was I going with that? Fuck. Shit. I hate everything right now. Toodles.